Hello, this is Dr. Cecily. I'm here in Cobb County, Georgia, and welcome to my channel. Look, I'm going to talk about three things that has to do with the January 6th Capitol Insurrection, the Capitol Riot, the Capitol Revolt, and I want to come from the aspect of, being a former law enforcement officer, because I was kind of ticked. I'm like, why are these people just getting charged with these low crimes, breaking and entering into the government building, um, interfering with destruction of property with the intent uh, to do, I guess, great bodily harm, because someone was charged with breaking and entering and also with assault of weapons. So I was thinking about why were they giving such small crimes, and I thought about it, like on ID, and as even being a law enforcement officer, being a sheriff in Wayne County, I used to read the reports. But a lot of time when there was fact gathering for the detectives, what they would do, and ID shows you this too. They start with the small crimes. Say, for instance, see, they're trying to get the big picture to come against Trump. See, because this was a planned, organized, and execution of a conspiracy of one level of government. We have our presidential, we have our judicial, and we have our legislative. So this was one level of government, the presidential part of it, trying to overthrow the legislative part, and a peaceful electoral of votes, telling the votes of Joe Biden's win. And I just want to say, for this Black History Month, injustice for one is injustice for all. And that's what I'm paraphrasing from Dr. Martin Luther King, since this is Black History Month. And to speak to the Republicans, and everybody said, oh, we don't want to deal with this. Look, this was Jim Crow on steroids, okay? We already know when it got down, when the rubber hit the road, as the old folks said, they came for a Jim Crow on steroids to steal all of our votes. When they talked about Atlanta, they talked about Philadelphia. When they talked about Detroit, because Detroit is made of Wayne County, and I used to go in Livonia and do my qualify for gun training annually. And Livonia was 90% white then, almost maybe 99% white. So for them to target, and I mean Trump and his co-conspirators, because this is about, and that's why we have to look on why they are just looking at these look like high misdemeanor crimes, the breaking and entering with intent to do assault. What was the other things? Entering a restricted government building, disorderly conduct. So you're thinking like, now why are they charging them with this? Now anybody look at the ID, they'll have a murder charge. They have a bigger charge in mind, but they have to stop and start with the little crimes. Say for instance, they got a ticket, and they didn't pay their ticket. Well, either they violated the probation. They have them come in and get more information. So you realize this is just giving the prosecutor. And if I was a prosecutor on this case, I'm telling you, it was the people. And I'm gonna tell you, they're not peaceful demonstrators. These, call them what they are. They committed an insurrection on our government. They tried to attempt to overthrow a peaceful tallying of votes while they were in. This was not an empty building. So for them to say breaking and entering, this, relax, they're going to get a bigger picture. And if I was a prosecutor, they must have a field day, because the people that committed these to try to overthrow the government, this rebellion, this riot, they are going to be charged with greater crimes. Now, I thought about two things I'm going to discuss. I'm going to discuss treason, and I'm going to discuss seditious conspiracy, because I want you to realize that it's just not Trump. Just because Trump is out of office, like the Republican says, oh, just let it, oh, you're going to make our nation divided. Well, for a black person, the country is already divided. And that's already been discussed on the news because it would be Black Lives Matter. Everybody would be dead in that building except for the lawmakers. So, and just realize these were people from all walks of life. They were veterans. The politicians were in there. These were people at the flower shop. There were people in government. These were people, real estate agents. These were moms. In fact, the mom with the 8 children, she wanted to go to Mexico somewhere, but just realize. And then with the guy, the QAnon guy, yeah, they moved him for organic food, but realize they're appeasing him and appeasing them because they're going to get more information. Because I'm telling you, this was a planned, organized, deliberate conspiracy to overthrow the government. That's what this was. So it's not just Trump. It's just not those who broke into the building, but it was those who also, and I'm talking about after he went through the courts. He went to 30 or 40 court cases. And I'm going to be quick because I want to go over treason, and I'm going to go over seditious conspiracy. Because you see, it was just not him. That's why you think that Pat Roberson retracted his statement and Beth Morrison with the Evangelical Church. They retracted their statements too late. The damage was already done. We got all these groups that have on the YouTube that have Stop the Steal, Moms for America, Stop the Certify. They've been planning this since probably back after the election. Now realize that this is the overthrow of the best electoral election there was. And then realize this was a Jim Crow also attack to try to attack to throw out black votes. Detroit, Atlanta, Philadelphia. Did not Trump ask for 11,780 votes from Brad Rassenberger down here in Atlanta? So what it was is, and it's just amazing to me that they will go and try to overthrow the government and realize these are not protesters. These are people that's trained, military, all walks of life. That's why that should tell you we're in a divided nation. These people came from all walks of life. And then think about it. They came down in private jets. Some people were in hotels right directly across from the White House. Do you know how much it costs for one night? I don't even imagine, okay? So this was organized. This was deliberate. This was planned by Trump, by his family, by the Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, and it goes further than that. His legal team, Syndney Powell, Guiliani, Mo Brooks, everybody that sit there and talked about fighting, and I'm talking about after the state certified, after Trump went through 30 or 40 cases of local, state, and Supreme Court cases that he lost, and they showed no evidence of fraud. Even Bill Barr, his attorney who left him, said this was the best, he didn't see any voter fraud. But the issue is this, it's not just Trump. So for Beth Morrison and for Roberson to step down in December, the damage was already done. So we got the evangelical churches. Go and look. Go and look. I have a calendar now that says about how they were trying to steal the elections. Look at stopthesteal.com, wildprotest.com, at donotcertify.com, wild protest. It was all planned. It was all planned. So not only do we have the evangelicals, we got the 72 million people that believe that the election was fraudulent. But look, we got people in leadership, Trump. We got these evangelicals, the Grahams, I'm gonna call them out. I'm not scared. Grahams, Paula White, Dutch Sheets. It goes on and on. And these people are saying these leaders have misled the people. And even if it was stolen, which even his own people, Republicans, Brad Rassenberger down here, Secretary of State here in Georgia, even Brian Kemp, our governor, even what's his name, Gabriel Sterling. He's too said he had already. If anybody prophesied, it was him. The evangelicals was prophesying because Gabriel Sterling said, Trump, stop it because you're going to get somebody killed and murdered. And what happened? We had 5 lives lost. So you think people are backing out? Do you think Deutsche Bank is backing out? They're the only bank that was going to give Trump loans. You think he's just backing up because they just backing out? So we don't want to be dealing with this white supremacy because this was Jim Crow on steroids. He wanted to steal 11,780 votes from the black people in Fulton County. And this is white supremacy, Ku Klux Klan, anti-government. This was radical groups. This was Cowboys for Trumps. This was a radical people that's been radicalized to kill and to hate. These are hate groups, white supremacy groups, and should be labeled as domestic terrorists, and they should be. And you know what? Go for the money because these 2 charges that I'm about to, these 2 definitions, they're going to show you they're going after the co-spirators. It's not just Trump. It's the evangelicals leaders. They're the ones that not only planned it, they got a calendar. They got a calendar on, go look at Revising God's Prophecy, and you will see a whole calendar from January 2nd to January 6th. Let me see if I have the calendar. Hold on. So I can show you. You might be able to see it, but I'm going to try to reveal it to you how this was planned. And not only we realize people going down and it was planned. And there was monies put to it. So Deutsche Banks is not just backing off for nothing. Fox News is not dropping Dobbs down for nothing. They just sitting them down because he's still getting paid. Because they're coming from the money. Because Smart was a Smart Addict, the voting machines, and also the Dominion voting machines. Those organizations are suing Guiliani and Syndney Powell, the one that said she gonna blow up Georgia first, in a biblical proportion. Well, blowing up is blowing up. I don't know how these people are walking around and Trump is claiming freedom of speech. How is this freedom of speech? We need to make some account. In fact, you know what? We need to change some laws. First of all, the president come in, he needs to say that he's going to concede to the next person. And that he's going to turn over. After he makes his allegiance, he's going to have to say that he's going to concede to the election. Or automatically some intelligent briefings he should not get. Trump should not be able to hold office. And that's why I'm going to get to treason and I'm going to get to seditious conspiracy. Because he's deeper than Trump. This is an infection and a cancer, and we got to root it all out. All of it got to go. Now, what I'm going to say, and I'm going to be real short. We got to get Trump, and he has to be held accountable. And then I don't care about him not going to jail. Just go after his pocketbook. Because the Dominion people and the Smart Addict, the voting places that with those machines, they are suing Fox News and Guiliani and all of them for billions of dollars for falsely making these claims. So let's go for the money. I think you can hit somebody, go for the money. Like that person that killed that black man, I forgot in which state it was, but they end up getting the Ku Klux Klan's headquarters. Let's go for these rioters, these insurrectionists, these domestic terrorists, and they should not be able to fly. And they should be on probation for the rest of their life because they're domestic terrorists. That's what they are, okay? Now you think that some of them was anti-government. You think they were going to go in there and just kill Pelosi and shoot her with a bullet in her head and hang Pence? Every one of those lawmakers would be dead. The only reason Ted Cruz and Holly is hanging on is because it's their political thing. But it's going to be for the people and by the people, because people realizing what's going on. And then a lot of people, they want their hate hidden. They don't want the brassness of Trump and the outspokenness of Trump. And the thing about it, you got to be aware. We got to have him accountable, and we got to go for everybody that contribute to it, aid it, or whatever. Go for everybody. It's like, sue everybody. Go to deep pocket. Because this is a cancer in our society, and it has to come out. It has to end. So the reason why Pat Roberson and what's her name, Beth Morrison, you know, they stopped. The reason why they stopped and backed out and said, Trumpism is cancer, is dangerous for Christianity. But they already knew that. But because they're walking in their white supremacy, you have Dutch Sheets, Paula White, Hagee, all the rest of y'all, you are supporting this because of your white supremacy. That's all it is. It's your hate. So you think that anti-radical, anti-government, anti-hate groups was going to just go in there and kill a couple people? Like the guy said, they all traitors. They were going for everybody, and Trump knew it. Trump knew it. So this was conspired. This was organized. And I'm going to show you this. I'm going to read you this. Let me see if I can find it. Here we go, right here in my tablet. And I'm going to try to give it to you. It says this: Trump wants to see you in D.C. January 5th, January 6th, the Freedom Plaza, the Ellipse, the Capitol building. See, he was playing. This was planned to organize. And guess what? If I was a prosecutor, I wanted to go lawsuit, but I was like, that was too much. But it's very interesting. If I was a prosecutor, this would be like gravy, because everybody posted on their social media, and they don't realize they deleted a lot of their accounts, but that's a digital imprint. It never goes away. I mean, are these people watching ID? They're so driven by their hate, they didn't realize. It's just like your address. You go to somebody's house, your fingerprints is on that door. Okay, so it's going to be a prosecutor's dream, and I know that they're charging them lighter crimes. And first, I was kind of upset. I'm like, these are traitors. We got to they have to be accountable. So let me go over these few things with you about treason. And that's why you see Fox News sitting down Lou Dobbs. You think you're just sitting down Lou Dobbs because, we find out, this is not good for our news. We losing followers. No, because they're about to get sued. No, go. I'm like this. I don't care if Trump gets locked up. Let's just go for his money. But I think he should never run for office. So let's go with this, because we have to teach accountability, and character has to matter. But we have to change some laws. We have to change that laws. When you make that allegiance to that flag as a president, you got to be able to, even if somebody did something, be able to say that you're going to concede. He has not conceded to this day. Let it be a peaceful transfer. If he don't concede, he shouldn't have any right, or she shouldn't have any right to the intelligence. So that should be laws that to be in place. What Trump really did was he showed us all the weak parts of our democracy. Now we have Biden's administration is going to have to close up those holes. So let me tell you what treason is. Treason is the highest of all crimes, defined as intentionally betraying one's allegiance by leveling war against the government or giving aid or comfort to its enemies. Now remember that. Against the government, leveling war against the government or giving aid or comfort to its enemies. So who was providing the resources to come down in private jets and staying in these, we talking about the Wilson hotels. We talking about hotels right across from the White House. It is the most serious offense one can commit against the government and punishable by imprisonment and death. They said treason prosecutions are rare, with around 40 federal prosecutions and even fewer convictions in U.S. history. But remember, we have never had an insurrection of one government level, the presidential level, trying to overthrow the legislative branch. We've never had that since the Civil War. And under the federal treason statute is 18 U.S.C. 2381, mirrors the Constitution's language and imposes minimum penalties of 5 years imprisonment and a $10,000 fine. Treason against the United States shall consist only in leveling war against them or in hurting to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of two witnesses to the same overt act or on a confession in open court. But sure, I'm like ID. If it's on the camera, we got the murderer, okay? So that's your witness right there. You don't even need, I don't think you even need two witnesses. The camera is the witness. And then most people are getting on social media and saying that they did it. So they're confessing to the crime. So let's talk about the elements of treason. The elements of treason are the same under state and federal law. The defendant owes allegiance to the government. Former President Trump did allegiance to the government. The people that were the insurrectionists, the domestic terrorists, made allegiance to the United States. The defendant intentionally betrays that allegiance by either leveling war against the government, and he did. President Trump levied war on the legislative government. He said for Pence to either be a patriot or be a P, and then fill in P, it ends with Y. Fill that in, okay? Giving aid or comfort to the government's enemy. So that's where the evangelical leaders come. That's where the Ted Cruz and the Josh Hawleys and the rest of them come in play. That's where Fox News, Newsmax, the evangelical churches, Pat Roberson and Beth Morrison, that's where they come in, Chuck Pierce, because they were the ones that was inciting this and saying that the election was stolen when it was a lawful election. And it did not show any fraud. Now remember, this was way after after the presidential election was in November. And then why should it take, and then what has to be changed? What has to be changed is why should the president get elected in November, and then after 2 months finally change? That's too much. That's too long. No, that has to change. Because if somebody think that they've been wrongfully cheated, which this is not the case, that person or she or he could do a great bodily harm to our nation and be a risk to our national and international security. So let's look at this one. Now I got this one from and kudos go out to what's his name, Kirshner. He spoke about seditious conspiracy. And this is under 18 U.S. Code 2384. It says if two or more persons in any state or territory or any place subject to the jurisdiction of the United States conspire to overthrow, put down, or to destroy by force the government of the United States. In this case, it was the President Trump, former President Trump, trying to overthrow a peaceful transfer of power and certifying Joe Biden as the 46th president of the United States, or to levy war against them, or to pose by force the authority thereof, or by force to prevent, hinder, or delay the execution of any law of the United States, or by force to seize, take, or possess any property of the United States contrary to authority thereof, they shall each be fined under this title or imprisoned not more than 20 years or both. So I would suggest that what's going to happen is, and this is after my hats off to Kirshner, because he's a former prosecutor, and he explains this to me about the seditious conspiracy. And see, this is where everybody comes in. That's why you think Deutsche Bank is probably the only bank that's supporting Trump. He's just doing it because we find they tried. No, they knew. They all knew. They were all conspirators in this seditious conspiracy to overthrow the government. The evangelical leaders, the Newsmax, the Fox News, and I'm talking about the people, because Carl Tuckerson did retract his statement about the election. He did apologize for that, but I'm just telling you, they got to go and put these people down as domestic terrorists. They got to put them on a no-fly zone. They got to go, and let me tell you, don't worry about QAnon guy, the one that they transferred to another location because he eats organic food. No, they want to get as much information out of it as he can. Because first I'm like, how you got breaking and entering? There were people got killed because you know what? They're still gathering information, and what they're gonna find out, this is gonna be a lot of fish in this sea right here, because like I said, it's not just Trump. It's just not the political people. Josh Hawley, Ted Cruz, the 72, the Republicans that don't want to impeach him, he has to be impeached or this is going to be done again. And laws have to be changed. They have to change the laws. These people must be put on the terrorist list. They try to do a Civil War thing. They try to do a Jim Crow. Do you imagine everything that not only that black lives, if anybody should have been on that building, it should have been us hanging off that building. It should have been us trying to overthrow the much hell that we've been through and much blood that went down the street. And not only my black people that died. And we have built this country on our backs of our black forefathers, mothers and sons and aunts and uncles. And we still are paying the price for it. If anybody should be mad, it should be us. But see, you won't even let us walk down the street and breathe. But that's another topic, because the thing about it is now we understand, like somebody said, oh, it was the Black Lives Matter that did that. I said to myself, it was a white president that incited a mob of thousands of people, if not millions of people, onto the Capitol, where you already mentioned who to go for. They already were going for Pence on his white vice president. And then there was a majority of white congressmen in the building. And most of those people were white. So how is it was a Black Lives Matter? Why is it? And see, this is the thing. They always blame. See, this is the thing about a hate spirit. It always blame and project. But you can believe what you want to believe. The thing about it is we're going to change these laws. Trump, all he did was expose what needs to be, we need to correct. We have to, Biden administration got to step up and start closing this door. And the prosecutors, they having a field day. Let the lady go. One lady want to go to the Mexico. Let her go to Mexico. So maybe there's somebody in Mexico that helped aid it, because look, the Dominion people, the Smartmatic voting, that do them voting machines, they about to sue everybody. You imagine getting sued for billions of dollars? So I said, go for the money. Go for Trump's money. Go for his family's money. Go for all the evangelicals that took a part in it, that said, go fight. No, those are, you can't, and it can't be a freedom of speech. When you, just like you can't be in a movie and say fire and be playful about it, because people can get killed trying to get out of the building. So no, there needs to be laws about taking your public office and talking about hanging people. We live in a world that it's like words are just, and words do matter. Accountability matter. So I understand what the FBI and everybody is doing. They're just getting a big picture. It's a lot of, imagine everybody was taking pictures. It's a field day for the prosecutors. They should be very happy. The insurrectionists, the terrorists, domestic terrorists, because that's what they are, they televised it. Their revolution was televised, okay? They made it plain. Even the FBI, Department of Justice, know that the terrorists, that the white supremacy was on the rise, and they need to step up. They need to step up and call domestic terrorists what it is. And I believe Canada stepped up and put somebody, I think the Proud Boys, as a domestic terrorist. So America needs to step up. So just know they're going to get charged. And I say like this, go for the money. Go for the money. If I was that family that, like the lady that got trampled, the one that had the yellow flag that said, don't tread on me. Now they could say that that's not, that, and you know, and my family, my heart goes out to the family of these people and the officers that died, because she was just trampled. She was trampled. She died trampled, being trampled by the domestic terrorists. She was here in Kennesaw, Georgia, and she died carrying a yellow flag with a snake on it that said, don't tread on me. But as a black person, I seen that as a Ku Klux Klan flag, because every time I seen it with the Confederate flag. But the thing about it, my prayers still go, because these were lost lives. It didn't have to be lost. It was provoked, incited, it was planned, organized, and it was executed by our former President Trump. And he should not be allowed to hold another office. And all the other ones, co-conspirators, should be sued them. Sue them. That's right. I don't care if they are, say they're Christians. Because anytime you incite hate, anytime you incite white supremacy, that is not of God. That's not God's way. God said he's love. So anything that's opposite of God's word is not right. So I'm sorry. Go and sue. I don't care if Trump never spends a day in jail, but they got to go after the money. Sue him for everything. If I was that veteran that went through the window, I would sue Trump. If I was the one that had to have, and I understand why former Vice President Pence didn't go find, he was homeless. Would you want to go and move somewhere and let Trump? He's going to find out where he lives at and send out the mob on it to kill him. As far as Atlanta need to be on high alert too, as well as all the other 50 states. But remember, Atlanta was the last one that Trump came from. Remember, he went to Brad Rassenberger and asked for how many? 11,780 votes. He also asked for what? He also got the Department of Justice guy, I forgot his name, and tried to get him to write a letter to write to the officials, Governor Brian Kemp and Brad Rassenberg and Gabriel Sterling, and tell them on a DOJ letter. But Rassenberger's call came out before that happened. But that DOJ guy, they need to find out what that was said, because he was going to sit down another Department of Justice guy who said, I'm not going to do it. But it was all down here in Georgia. So Georgia need to be on high alert, okay? Because they need to get this cancer out of here. They need to get this cancer, and Trump should never run for another office along with his co-conspirators. Okay, be safe. This is Dr. Cecily. Tell me what you think. Bye-bye.